I guess we're rolling. Hey guys, what's going on? This is Jalapablo. Hey, let's look at Luna Classic or Terra Classic today. Could it be now that we finally arrived at a range that somewhat resembles an accumulation range at last after this protracted sell-off and such. You know, what also seems to be in a similar holding pattern is Algorand, and I'm going to do a video on Algorand shortly after this. There's something about these bloody tokens, guys. You want to buy the blood. I've been teaching that for years. You buy the blood. Some of these assets have just been wrecked, and especially the ones that have gone through deep trauma, like this, like Solana's another one. Algorand. There are several of them, but those three are the ones that stand out the most, and ones that I'm the most heavily invested in for various reasons. I'm not shilling them. You'll never hear me shill something. You do your own research and you buy. It could be all three of these can go to shit, and I'm out my disposable income investment or whatever. So no big deal. I won't lose a lot of sleep over it. But I feel very optimistic when it comes to Terra Classic. And they are rolling out some new things. There's going to be some big burns coming. Some crypto analysts. Let's see if I can move this over here. Hold on, so you can read this. This is going to substantiate my VSA analysis that I'm going to show you in a moment. Now, I do my research first fundamentally. I do not so much fundamentally, but technically. I'll look at a coin and I will analyze the volume spread with the Wyckoff, with the price action and such. And I'll look at all that, and then I'll look at the VWAP and such, and then I'll go back and look at the buying and the selling climaxes from the previous cycles. And if I see something that looks enterprising, like I saw this morning when I was just looking at Terra Classic, I said, holy smokes, this looks like it's going into an accumulation finally. So I said, I wonder if there's a catalyst for all this. I wonder, and then and only then do I look and I begin to research the news and see if anything is, causing this accumulation in the midst of this bear market that we're still in. And please don't be fooled. We are in 100% in a bear market still. We are not in a bull market. I don't give a crap what Bitcoin does, how far up it goes. We are in a bear market still, and we are in an overarching bear market that from the selling climax from 16,000. And so I'm not going to get into that, but I have videos out on that, and you could look at that. You could look at the rising wedge that we're currently in. And when Bitcoin falls, then a lot of these alts are going down with it, including this one. But for now, we're seeing a really strong counter trend in the making for this coin, which is long overdue. And the volume spread seems to indicate this. So I said, well, why? How is it doing this? Why? What's the catalyst? So I found this, and there's others now that are predicting these massive rallies, 400% uptrend in Luna Classic. There are some things, developers that are doing some. Basically, what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it its own chain again. And I don't know if they're going to be able to repeg it to the dollar. If they do, I'm retiring to Bora Bora, but I don't see that happening. But I do see some very enterprising things happening with Terra Classic in the future. So I don't think it's down and out. I don't think it's a dead project. I think it's got a lot of potential. So check this out: export forecast 400% price surge for Terra Classic ahead of anticipated community-owned wallet launch. And so I'm not going to go into all this, but there are some things that they're doing here. Calculated burns, orchestrated burns, upgrades, volume 2 upgrades and such. So the reason I bring that up is because you do the technical analysis first, and then to confirm your technical bias, you can go ahead and do the fundamental research in the news. But I always put the technicals before the fundamentals. So, okay. With that said, let me reduce this here. This is why I think we're accumulating. So we had this protracted sell-off. We came down here to the zero. What is there? 4 or 5 zeros now in front of this damn thing. So 0008, and that was back in May. We had the mitigation, the selling climax mitigated with the secondary test. Remember how I teach you, you look for the mitigations. This happens in every trading range. This doesn't mean anything. You can't tell just from the selling climax mitigating with the secondary test whether or not the trading range is going to be distribution or accumulation. But you know that after the mitigation, at least, then you have the actual investigative qualities of the trade coming into play in your technical analysis endeavors. And so right after we saw the mitigation, it shot right up and it mitigated the PS. You see this mitigation here. This is also important, and this is often indicative of something. Now this, I marked this a UTA. If this were going to distribute, which I suppose it still can, then this would be a UTAD, an upthrust after distribution. But as it stands right now, I'm leaning more towards upthrust action. And so this mitigated the support here, or the supply, and then, what is it, the primary supply. And so from there, we're coming down. But I want to show you here, if you look at the volume metrics during the selling climax up to the automatic rally, back down to the secondary test, how do we know it was going to jump up and do this rally, this thrust, this spike? Well, we saw accumulation in the dual, meaning supply and demand are both diminishing as the price consolidates within the trading range. Within the selling climax and the automatic rally, we have the confines of the trading range. And so we saw both of them diminishing. Now notice here on this markdown, on these pullbacks here, you don't see both of them going down. You see supply going up, which confirms the bear strength or the selling power. You see supply going up, and not only that, you see demand going down on these. See this kind of like this rising wedge here? Well, we have demand shrinking on it, which denotes further bloodshed. And then here also we have demand, which is the buying power, bull power, diminishing, while we have the bear power increasing. See this? See these series of supply spikes increasing as the price drops. And so we've been seeing that for the duration of the selling climax, this sort of pattern with demand shrinking on the updrives and supply growing on the downtrends, until we reached here, the selling climax. And now we have both supply and demand both diminishing, which denotes accumulation. These are the market makers accumulating Luna at these prices. That's what this means. And they keep it within the confines of this trading range because they've determined that this area here, this will be the bottom unless they want to implement like a bear trap, which is what we saw here. This is basically the area where informed and smart money is going to be accumulating this coin. They bring it all the way up to the UTA, mitigate, and then bring it back down again. They sold some of their supply here. They sold it and brought it back down. See what this is? This is a demand test. They're looking to see if Luna Classic or Terra Classic, whatever the hell you want to call it, has value above the automatic rally point. And so it did. Not only did it have value above the automatic rally, this thing had value all the way up to the primary support zone. And so here they sold out, and you see it was an immediate sell-off. They just sold all the supply, and they're saying, All right, hot dog, we're going to accumulate more of this because there's clear demand after a certain price. And they could have ran this sucker all the way back up if they wanted to, but that would defeat their accumulation campaign, the purposes of it, which is to what? To buy low and sell high, not not buy high and sell low. So that's what they did. And so they brought the price back down slowly. And here, look what we have again. Again, we have the dual volume, the supply and demand, the bulls and bears, buying and selling power, both diminishing in this lateral pattern of consolidation. These things denote accumulation. This is clear accumulation by the market makers. We could draw a micro trend resistance from the tops, from the sell-off point of this redistribution range up here to the top of this upthrust where they tested demand, and then to the next high here. And you see we have a clear series of lower highs, and they are very deliberate in not breaking this micro trend resistance. They're bringing it down. Look at this supply. I mean, they're serious about keeping it in here. And so we're keep going down. And then on the bottom now, we have this spring here, these two springs where they are careful to bring the price back up into the trading range. They don't want to let it fall too far, right? They want to keep it within the selling range because this will let people know that to stop buying at this point. So they're very careful and they're very crafty at what they do. And so we've come to a kind of like a triangle, really, but the spread is narrowing. And so currently we are hugging TRS, which is trading range support, which is back at the selling climax line. This has been a very strong floor. We have a floor here. Let me see if I can get this. We have a touchdown here. We have the mitigation here. We have this area here where it's been hugging. It's been keeping a floor. Luna has been keeping a floor. So we might go up for another test here, hit the micro trends resistance, and we might go back down for a spring right before we break through, test, and go up into the Fibonacci extension zones. I drew my Fibonacci's from the top of this UTA. So this area here would be the 1.618 or the golden Fibonacci retracement. I could see it going all the way up here at some point and mitigating this UTA point before it decides what to do further. I don't think it's going to be one of those just parabolic rallies that many of us would like. You don't want that anyways too soon because whatever goes up must come down. And I believe we're entering into a recession where we're going to see more bloodshed with Bitcoin. And then if this is going up parabolically, then it's just going to be the higher it goes, the higher it falls. And the higher it falls, the higher it goes. There's a Beatles song. The deeper it goes, the higher you fly. The higher you fly, the deeper you go. So come on. Everybody's got something to hide but me and my monkey. The same thing holds true with crypto and the ebbs and the tides and the flows and the waxings and the wanings of the price action in these very, very volatile ranges. So that's all I've got for Luna. Keep an eye on it. I've got a whole bunch of these. I've got almost 5 million of these things locked away on a ledger. So we'll see what happens. It's zero or hero at this point, and I don't plan on touching it until maybe 2027, 28, 29. Who knows? And so that's how you have to be with these things. You just accumulate them, and you do as you can. All right, guys. This is it for Terra Classic. We'll get back into Bitcoin or something else later. I'm going to do a chart on Algorand next. I've got nothing else to say, nothing else to tell you. Just happy trading and just be safe. Reach out, comment, like if you like this sort of technical analysis. No bullshit technical analysis. without indicators. Oh yeah, by the way, this is a VWAP. For those of you who may be thinking, this blue line, I anchored this VWAP to the selling climax, and this serves as the ice or the creek. So those of you who study Wyckoff, you know what an ice and a creek is. So I look for, one of the things to know that we're going to mark up is the price action goes through. You see how it went through the VWAP here, but we really had like mediocre demand volume. When this sucker is about to mark up legitimately, this will come up and go through the VWAP, and it will come back down and retest it. And it will probably be around the same area as the micro trend resistance. And so that confluence is extremely important. And then you just wait. And if you have high volume, high demand volume, and I'm talking about volume like this, demand volume, big ass demand volume, and it jumps the creek with that big volume, and it comes back and retests, and the volume doesn't go down anymore. We get, even though we get large spikes like this, because you'll get stoppage supply that will come in and try to, like, you know, stop it out. But if it just bounces off the micro trend in the VWAP and then keeps going, then boom shakalaka, you're going up to the fib extension. So we're just going to have to see how it all plays out. So keep an eye on that. And I found that the VWAP, the volume weighted average price, serves as a wonderful ice and creek barrier in these crypto ranges. Okay, guys, that's all. Gone on too long, 16 minutes. Jeez. All right, adios, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.